Hello everybody. Well, we're approaching the third week in September now, and last night temperatures got down to 1 degree. We had a very slight grass frost here, so I'm glad I did all that harvesting the other day, finished all these plants off, and I've come down low here, low angle, just so you could see that all this is sort of cleared. And this morning and yesterday sort of cleared it all out, dug it over, got the claw in there, dug it over and raked it all out, because I'm ready now to start planting. It's kind of like a spring again. It's like the second spring, if you like. So got lots of spaces to fill, lots of plants to go in them, and let's crack on with it. So we'll have a quick whiz around just to show you where we're at up to now. This half of this big bed is empty and ready for planting. Not sure what's going in there yet. Here's my big hot box composter. Nothing doing with that as yet. It's ready to go, nearly, and I'll be starting to fill up this next week, hopefully. Up here where the Crimson Crush tomatoes were, you may remember I underplanted that with the kale. Kale's growing away fine. Just put some canes in to support them. You can actually still see the stalks of the tomato plants. I need to cut them off at ground level. So that's that side pretty much done. Still got the rest of these grapes to harvest. Hopefully this week they'll be coming off. Spin you around. Still got chilli plants in there. I want to leave that for a bit longer. Yeah, I'll talk about that on another day. But otherwise, mostly all these beds are now empty. Still got the crack key systems in here, and this was a melon plant, and you can see how well this is done. There's no melons on it, it was all planted late. It was just a bit of a test. And a French bean plant here. Now the branches are snapping under the weight. You can see got beans on there. So this was just a test for my benefit to see if it worked. And over here in the other crack key, the basil's gone absolutely crazy. It's so much so that it's actually pulling the pot now out of the lid, and this is going home today because I'm going to make a nice big jar or two of pesto. And if I just open this up, let you see the root mass in there. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Most of the feed in there is gone, so that can come out now. All the ground around it's prepared, and we come up here, we've got the carrots. They're ready for thinning out, so that's another job for this week. Then up here are my brassicas, and this is a little seed bed, so it's a little area, 3 foot by 2.5 foot, and I've got a ton of plants in there. Some of these are going outside and some of these will be staying in here, and I've got 2 different types of spring cabbage, a new type of kale to me, and 2 lines of cauliflower. I say all of these will be going outside and inside, mostly up that back edge up there. On top here on the hanging shelf are all my plants that I'm going to be planting out. They're on the hanging shelf just to keep pests out of the way, really. Things like slugs and snails and mice, that sort of stuff. So I've got a selection of mustards, pak choys, mazumas, lettuces, whole load of seedlings in there that I can pot on, some herbs. I think that one's, no, that's spinach there. That one over there, that's coriander. A load of Chinese cabbage, doing something different with that this year, again as usual. Some salad stuffs for cut and come again stuff, and forget what this one is at the end, some more pak choy. So some of these still need to grow on, and we'll plant it out in the coming weeks, but we'll get started on the planting today. So this is my brassica seed bed, and I've got a couple of cabbages, kale and a couple of cauliflowers. It's slightly different planting these out in the fact, because if you grow these in modules, use up all that space in compost, the roots will be in moist compost and they'll stay contained within there until you plant them out, and then they'll grow out. But these are essentially bare root plants, and that's how you want to treat them. So when I've taken them, See, the soil's falling away. There's nothing there. There's not your module that you'd expect to get. But these will grow fine. The roots are there. They just want planting and kept watered for about a week. And they'll sulk for about a week. You'll see them go all limp. They're nice and turgid there. But they will go limp for about a week. And then the roots will get out to the soil. So you've just got to be aware of that. It's not a case of just putting the module in, watering it and walking away for a month. You can't do that with these. You've got to keep them well watered for that first week at the very least. And then they'll do fine. And it just means that in a little space like that you can get a lot of varieties going. I mean, I could quite easily divide each of these rows up into 3 and put 10, 15, 20 varieties of different plants in there. And the great thing is about brassicas is they're just so willing to grow, and even at very, very low temperatures. I've germinated brassicas in seed beds like this all the way down to sort of 2 to 3 degrees, and they'll just grow away happily. They're brilliant plants for that. So just saves you a bit of compost and a bit of bench space. I mean, some people even start these in propagators. That's up to them, that's fine, but I don't think you need to, and I certainly don't do it anymore. Just get them in a bit of soil. So we'll go and get some of these planted outside first. This is let's say a spring cabbage, and the variety is Greyhound. Now, earlier in the season this bed had cornflowers in, and I think, to be honest, they went to seed. You can see all these white bits on here. I think that's the seeds. I haven't investigated too much, but so I think I might be getting a problem from them later on, but it's a good problem to have. Sorry about that, I had to cut there. Somebody turned up. Anyway, yeah, so it's a good problem to have with these cornflowers, because if they do start growing, then I can prick them out and use them elsewhere, which would be a good thing. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, back to the spring cabbage. I'm planting these quite deep. I'm planting them also quite close together. I have a tendency with brassicas to space them too far apart. And I found in the last couple of years anyway, planting certainly these spring stuff, planting them closer together and planting them deep seems to work quite well for them. Soil's a bit dry. We had rain a day and a half ago, but I shall water these in very much. So get them watered in. And I'll let that drain away. I'll carry on planting with the other things, and then I'll give them another can, the whole bed another can, before I leave. And I'll do that tomorrow as well. When I arrive first thing in the morning, a whole can on the bed, and before I go, another can, and eventually that will seep through and wet this, which is, it's not dry, but it could do with being a bit damper. So in this little corner of the polytunnel, this clear bed, I've got another 10 of those spring cabbage planted in this little area here, just 10. Green Side Up is dedicated to helping gardeners of all ages, levels and experience. So if you subscribe to this channel, then I can help you too. And it's the big red button just down here, and it's free of charge. It costs you absolutely nothing. It doesn't get any better than that, does it? So I've already got these spring cabbages planted outside. over in the corner in the polytunnel, and just going to take up a few more. I'm going to pop them on into these little modules. These are containerized trays, and these will be backups, much the same as the rest of that row that's in there now, but it just gives me options later. These will grow on quite happily into these module trays. Again, as long as I keep them well watered, they'll be fine. But from that one little sowing, I've now got plants everywhere. That's going to help for through the winter. So later on, if a space develops and I think, oh, I'll plant something there, I've got plants in here to go at, plants to use, and I can get things in. So it doesn't take much time or work to do, and you've got plants everywhere. So even at this time of the year, you've got options. So I mean, it could be the plants outside could get hit by butterflies or pigeons, although I am going to cover them in about a week's time. I'll just leave them uncovered for now, make it easier for watering. So they could get attacked by pigeons or sparrows or something, but the plants in here won't. But they could get attacked by slugs, or I believe even mice chew the stems on them. But if I've got spare plants, I can just go back to the source and get a few more plants going, or a few more plants planted to replace them. And remember, this is just one variety. That's all I've done. I've still got, this is the greyhound type, so it's another 15 plants there as spare. I've still got another spring cabbage, then a kale, and then 2 cauliflower varieties to go at. So that lot will fill this area in here. Then I'll need somewhere to plant this lot up here on the hanging shelf. But this is good from a few sowings. I've got hundreds of plants, and most importantly, I've got options, and I've got a backup plan as well. So they need a watering. There we go. So there we go. There's that variety of spring cabbage, sown, that's greyhound. Now, if you have this advanced strategy, if you'd have just sown those plants into modules and then just planted them out in one place, and then the weather wiped them out, you'd be completely lost. But by planting them outside, inside, leaving some in the seed bed and potting some on into modules, it gives me options. So if somewhere gets wiped out, let's say I get a mould in the middle of December or something here in this tunnel, it can wipe so many plants out so quickly, but it doesn't mean that the next tunnel or the beds outside will be affected. So if you're planting in multiple locations, you've got multiple options and backups as well. And that's key for this time of the year, because you just don't know what the weather's going to throw at you. We could have nice weather all the way up until Christmas, or in 2 weeks' time we could be 10 degrees below zero. You just don't know. We're not in that reliable a country anymore for the weather, so we can't predict like we used to be able to do what's going to happen and when. So having an advanced planting strategy for all your plants will hopefully keep you in, nice fresh vegetables all the way through until next spring. Anyway, that's it for today. Please stay safe, everyone. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.